Hello and welcome to Riverside Tech. Today we have a review of the Microsoft Surface Book. This is the first laptop in the Surface range of portable devices, which include the Surface and the Surface Pro. This is designed to be a 2-in-1 laptop that allows the screen to be detached from the keyboard and work independently from the keyboard. But unlike the other Surface products, the keyboard is a proper keyboard instead of being some kind of cover. Let's first look at the design of the laptop. On the front is a Surface logo and a camera for taking pictures when in tablet mode. On one side there are two USB 3.0 ports, an SD card slot, and on the other side there is an audio jack, mini DisplayPort, and magnetic charging port. The bottom is a flat piece of metal with some rubber feet. The intakes and outtakes are found on the screen section around the edges, and there's some very small holes going around the sides which allow air in and out. These are perfectly fine, and while they may be clogged if you have a very dirty bag, I've never found that keeping them in a laptop case. Holding the top and bottom together is the dynamic fulcrum hinge, at least that's what Microsoft call it, which unfolds in such a way that the base of the laptop becomes slightly longer than the top of the laptop, allowing the laptop, which is quite top heavy, to stay balanced without toppling, even when you've pushed the screen all the way back. Some people do not actually like this hinge. There's been some complaints about it, because they don't like the way it kind of leaves a gap and separates the top and bottom, and people are afraid that this gap might get dust in it. But throughout my use of the laptop I've never found this the case. If a bit of dust did get in, I could just easily clean it off when I open the laptop. I think the hinge actually really adds to the laptop's design, as nothing else really has it, similar way to the Yoga laptops have a fancy hinge, and I think it really helps make the laptop stand out over other competing laptops. Now open the lid, which is actually fairly hard to do because it's held together with a magnet to stop it opening accidentally. We can see the screen, touchpad and keyboard. The keyboard is a pleasure to type on, and I found it has a lot of key travel for a laptop, which I actually like. Some people may not like it because it can kind of feel like it's bottoming out, but then I'm quite used to mechanical keyboard on my desktop, so that also has quite a long key travel. It also has a 3-stage backlight, which is perfectly satisfactory and works perfectly fine in the dark. Onto the touchpad, it's one of the best I've ever used on a laptop personally, and I think it rivals even Apple's touchpads. It felt very responsive and very smooth when I was moving my fingers over the touchpad. Looking at the screen, it's got a 3000 by 2000 resolution, and it's in a 3:2 aspect ratio. I love the choice of aspect ratio, as it makes the screen more square and kind of like an A4 piece of paper. It gives you more height to see tabs or similar if you have them spread out across the screen, and you can actually read more on a page without scrolling. I like that design decision. On the top of the display is a camera for videos and also an infrared sensor for Windows Hello, which I found is a great facial recognition program to log in with, and I never really had to use my password. So in terms of specs for the device, you can get 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM, 128 to 1 terabyte of SSD storage, which is very fast, and a 6th generation i5 or i7 processor. You can also choose, if you want to pay more, to have a dedicated GPU in the base, which is close to a GT 940M graphics card. While it's not that powerful, it's more powerful than most GPUs you could get in a laptop this size, and it has more than enough power to run Overwatch at a playable frame rate at a 720p resolution. And it's nice to have in a laptop this size, as I said. Not many other laptops are able to have graphics cards at all in them this size. The screen can detach. You just press a button and it can become a touchscreen tablet. It can also accept inputs from the included Surface Pen. The battery life of the tablet is not great. It lasts only around 2 hours, but seeing as most of the components of the laptop are in the screen and most of the batteries are found in the base, it's understandable why the battery life is not that great when you're using it as a tablet. Meanwhile, when you're using it as a laptop, the battery life is great and one of the best battery lives of a laptop I've ever used, to be honest. Now, there's only a few things about this laptop that I would really complain about, and that's the position of the headphone jack and the power switch position. The power switch is situated on the top of the laptop, and it's not protected when the laptop closes. And I found this to be a problem, is when I've had the laptop in my bag, the power switch is bashed against the side of my bag, and it's actually turned the laptop on in my bag, causing it to get quite hot and waste a lot of battery, which is quite frustrating because I don't know it's turning on. The headphone jack is also a problem because of its position. It's situated on the right hand side of the laptop, near the top of the device. This is quite annoying because when you have the device in laptop mode, with the screen open, the headphone jack is at the top of the display, raised off the ground. When I've had my headphones plugged in, the cable kind of dangles down and creates like an awkward mess on the side of the screen and on the table, which I found to be quite annoying, and I wish the headphone jack was at the bottom of the display instead. Now, both of these are minor complaints, and they obviously seem to have been made because of the design limitations of the laptop of having to have it as a 2-in-1 with a detachable screen. So they needed to have some kind of button on the display and headphone jack on the display in order for it to work fully as a tablet. And so I can kind of sympathise with them on that one, but I would like those to be changed, because they don't have to be moved off the laptop, they just had to be changed in position. Other than those minor complaints, the Surface Book, while extremely expensive in some circumstances, it is an extremely good laptop. While I did hear it did have some pretty major software bugs at launch, these have now been sorted and I've had no problems with the laptop. There's never been a better time to get a Surface Book if you're looking for one. It's definitely worth a look at. So please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more Riverside Tech videos. Thank you.